Hello everyone, welcome to Hebrew Israelite Awakening. This is the third episode, and this episode is entitled The Wicked Woman. Now, I've been wanting to do a real serious sermon dealing with wicked women for some time now, because there's a lot of wickedness going on in the world today, and a lot of it is because of the wicked woman. See, the wicked woman is a parent. The wicked woman raised children. The majority of the time, these women are single mothers, and it's because of their negligence, their lack of knowledge, that they're raising up these sons and daughters to be a menace to society. So women have to take some credit in the destruction of our society, because they are the single parents who are raising these children by themselves, and it's their lack of parenting, their lack of good judgment that raises these sons to be hooligans, thugs, raises these daughters to be hoochie mamas and sluts, and the cycle continues. The son grows up to be a whoremonger. He has sex with a woman, gets her pregnant, don't want to be around for the child. Why is that? Because he was raised by a single parent who seemed as though she didn't need the help of a man to take care of her kids. So that man figures that the woman he impregnated don't need the help of him. You know, same thing with the daughter. Daughter grows up to be a slut just like her mama was. And because her mother raised her without the help of a man, she figured that she don't need the help of a man to raise her child. And because the mother wasn't married, the children don't see the purpose of being married. There's no good example there. And I'm going in on this subject today. But this subject is not just going to be me ranting and raving about the things that I see as going wrong in the world involving women. I'm also going to be using the scriptures. This is a Bible study entitled The Wicked Woman. And the first verse we're going to be reading from today is from the testimony of Reuben. For those who are not familiar with the testimony of Reuben, the testimony of Reuben could be found in the testimony of the 12 patriarchs, which is from the Hebrew. It was a Hebrew scroll that dealt with the testimony of the 12 patriarchs, the blessings that the 12 tribes of Israel gave unto their sons before they passed away. You know, the blessing that the father gives to his son before he passes. The children of Israel did the same thing unto their sons. So if you want to read more about this, look up the testimony of the 12 patriarchs. I'm in the testimony of Reuben, chapter 2. And I'll be reading verses 13 through 17. And it reads, it says, For evil are women, my children, and since they have no power or strength over men, they use wiles by outward attractions, that they may draw him to themselves. And whom they cannot bewitch by outward attraction, him they overcome by craft. For moreover, concerning them, the angel of the Most High told me and taught me that women are overcome by the spirit of fornication more than men. And in their heart they plot against men. And by means of their ornaments they deceive first their minds. And by the glance of the eyes insult the poison. And then through the accomplished act they take him captive. For a woman cannot force a man openly, but by a harlot's bearing she beguiles him. Flee, therefore, fornication, my children, and command your wives and your daughters that they adorn not the head and faces to deceive the mind, because every woman who useth these wiles had been reserved for eternal punishment. So you see, it was revealed to Reuben by an angel of the Most High that a lot of these women are very wicked. They're very deceitful. And in their hearts, they plot against men. They deck themselves with gold and silver and jewelry and stuff. They make themselves attractive to bait the man, to catch the man. You see what I'm saying? To use him, to manipulate him, to get what they want from the man. We call them today prostitutes, sluts, harlots, promiscuous women who only want a man for what they can get from the man. Financial stability, use him for his money, use him for his house, use him for his car. They only with a man for what they can get from the man. They're not with the man to be a wife, to procreate, to take care of a family, to build a strong foundation, a household. They're not with him for those purposes. They're only with him for what they can get from him. We call them today gold diggers. Next, we're going to Proverbs chapter 2, verses 10 through 22. And it reads, when wisdom enters your heart and knowledge is pleasant to your soul, discretion will preserve you, understanding will keep you, to deliver you from the way of evil, from the man who speaks perverse things, from those who leave the path of righteousness to walk in the way of darkness, who rejoice in doing evil and delight in the perversity of the wicked, whose ways are crooked and who are diverse in their paths, to deliver you from the immoral woman, from the seductress who flatters with her words, who forsakes the companion of her youth, and forgets the covenant of her God. For her house leads to death, and her paths to the dead. None who go to her return, nor do they regain the path of life. So you may walk in the way of goodness, and keep to the path of righteousness. For the upright will dwell in the land, and the blameless will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the earth, and the unfaithful will be uprooted from it. Now let's go back up. Let's go back to verse 19. It says, none who go to her return, nor do they regain the path of life. See, this woman, this wicked woman, her sole purpose is to take you from the path of righteousness. That's why you must be careful. That's why you must carefully inquire of this woman. Any woman that approaches you and desires to be with you, or if you are attracted by a woman by her outward attractions, because women, they dress a certain way to attract you. So if you see a woman and she wearing leggings and got cleavage showing, this is a woman who's trying to attract you, but she's trying to attract you in a seductive way. This is a wicked woman. Do not be caught in the snare of this type of woman, because she dresses like a seductress. She's not dressed modestly. She's not dressed with a long dress down to the ankle. She's not dressed covering her cleavage. She's not dressed wearing some type of head covering to hide the glory of her head, the beauty of, the hair. This woman's got cleavage showing. She's wearing leggings. She's wearing hoochie mama shorts. She's wearing a mini skirt. She's got all the breasts busting out. She got all the behind showing. This is a wicked woman. And if you go unto her, if you are attracted by her, you shall be caught by her seductive ways. And the scriptures wants to deliver you from that type of woman. Let's go back to verse 16 on down. It says, wait, let me go. Let's see where we start at. Go back to verse 13. It says, from those who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the way of darkness, who rejoice in doing evil and delight in the perversity of the wicked, whose ways are crooked and who are diverted in their paths, to deliver you from the immoral woman, from the seductress who flatters with her words, who forsakes the companion of her youth and forgets the covenant of her God. For her house leads down to death, and her path to the dead. See, this woman is wicked, and you can tell she's wicked by the way she. To remind you, we in Proverbs chapter 2, and I read through verses 10 through 22. This woman, by the way she's dressed, tells you everything about her. She's not dressed modestly. She's dressed seductively. So she's trying to attract the man in a seductive way. You see what I'm saying? To use him. To take advantage of him. She's not seeking a husband. She's seeking a whoremonger because she can take advantage and use the whoremonger. Next, we're going to Proverbs chapter 6, verses 23 to 26. And it reads, it says, "For the commandment is a lamp, and the law a light. Reproof of instruction or the way of life, to keep you from the wicked woman, from the flattering tongue of a seductress. Do not lust after her beauty in your heart, nor let her allure you with her eyelids. For by means of a harlot, men are reduced to a crust of bread, and an adulteress will prey upon his precious soul." See, man, you have to watch out for these women, man. Some of these women be married. Some of these women be in a committed marital type relationship with another man. And they only coming at you to seduce you, to have sex with you, to punish the man that she's with. Because a lot of times these women, when they get upset with their boyfriend, they get upset with their husband, the way they seek revenge is to sleep with somebody else. That's why, and I'm talking to regular folks. I'm talking to regular common people. Common regular people, listen to this. You have lived in the world. You have dealt with relationships and stuff like that. So you know what I'm talking about. Especially even if you're a woman. Your boyfriend hurt you, and to get back at him was to sleep with somebody else. Or y'all two broke up, and it was only for like a week. But within that week, you slept with somebody else to fill that void, to feel that hurt. Is a form of vindictiveness, because women are very vindictive and they want to get you back. They want to hurt you just as much as you hurt them. You could have called the girl a B word and she got upset. She broke up with you. Deep inside her heart, she knew y'all was going to get back together. Deep inside your heart, you knew y'all was going to get back together. But within that time period that y'all broke up, whether it be 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 2 weeks, to fulfill that vindictiveness within her heart to get you back, she done cheated. Had sex with another man. And a lot of times it was unprotected and this woman then got pregnant. We got shows that show this type of situation all the times. But that is parental court. You have the Murray Porter show where he doing these blood tests to see if the child is yours. Oh, we broke up for a week and I slept with him and it was unprotected and I'm sorry, I don't know if the child, man. This is the type of foolishness we dealing with in the world. That's why if you're a man, you got to be very careful of what type of woman you dealing with. Even if she claimed to be a Hebrew Israelite, you still got to get her background check. Ask her about, how long was your longest relationship? Yes, that's a very important question. How many guys have you been with? How many relationships have you had? How many of the guys that you've been with, romantic in a relationship with, have you slept with? You see what I'm saying? That's stuff you need to know. You need to know what type of woman you're dealing with. You need to know if she's ever had any sexually transmitted disease, because if she had herpes, she still has herpes. If she's had gonorrhea, she could still have gonorrhea. If she has HPV, HPV, she may still have HPV. You see what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with you women. You need to ask the man, how many women have he been with? Have he ever had any sexually transmitted disease? Because just because you didn't came into the truth, that don't mean that you don't still have the disease from the person that you've had sex with all these multiple times and stuff like that. Relationships are very serious. We're talking about one's future. We're talking about one's life. And a woman can destroy you, man. And a man can destroy you, woman. This Bible study is not to just abuse women, just to talk about what evils that women have done. Men do evil things too. But the evil man gets the evil woman as his reward. You see what I'm saying? And the wicked woman gets a wicked man. So I don't want to hear about, oh, but men are bad and men do bad stuff too. Exactly. But you chose that man. You see what I'm saying? And you wasn't in your right mind and you wasn't in the right place when you got with that man to begin with. So I don't want to hear no tit for tat. This ain't about tit for tat. This is about warning men about wicked women. And it's also to expose the wicked woman. You could be a wicked woman listening to this right now. You need to hear this so you can get yourself together and transform yourself into somebody that a man could marry. And not be a woman that can continuously get used and abused. Get in a relationship with a man, he see your flaws and then he out of there because he don't want to deal with you. Because a righteous man is not going to deal with a wicked woman. A righteous man ain't going to deal with your BS. You either be born again and renew your way of life, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, and be a woman that a man want to marry, or you stay the old piece of trash that you have always been, and you ain't never go get a man and never go be satisfied. Because even dealing with these Hebrew Israelite women, woman come at me talking about something, oh yeah, you seem like the man I would want to be with because you in the word and this and that, but I have an attitude problem. Oh, you have an attitude problem, sister? Well, you need to get a hold of that. Because I'm not dealing with no attitude. I'm not dealing with your BS. I'm not dealing with no sass, no constant argument, confusion. I ain't dealing with that. You still covered with madness. I'm not dealing with you. Woman confessing to me that she got an attitude. Well, sister, you're not for me because I'm not dealing with no bull stuff. I'm not doing it. But that's us preach, and let's get back into the scripts. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 4. And the reason says, an excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she who causes shame is like rottingness in his bones. Next, Proverbs chapter 23, verses 27 to 28. It says, for a harlot is a deep pit, and a seductress is a narrow well. She also lies in wait as for a victim, and increases the unfaithfulness among men. Did you hear that? Proverbs chapter 23, verses 27 to 28. It says, for a harlot is a deep pit, and a seductress is a narrow well. She also lies in wait as for a victim, and increases the unfaithfulness among men. That's her job. She's trying to destroy men. She's a man eater. That's all she does. Tears a man down. Belittles him. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you get her pregnant so she can put you on child support and ruin men. You have to watch out for these women. They're out there. They were raised this way. Their mother was the same way. Their mother got pregnant by a man she wasn't married to. The man used her and left her. So now this woman is bitter, has bitterness towards men. She has a daughter. Her daughter watches her be a man eater. Watches her mother be a man eater. Devour men. Talk bad about men. Bring a man in the house all lovey-dovey with him. As soon as he leave, oh, girl, that man up in a piece of trash. He buys. The daughter is seeing all of this and she's eating it up. Her mother is teaching her how to be a whore. And how to eat men. You see what I'm saying? Even the way these girls are, these women literally, they even use their daughters to get an evil man because they know that evil man got money. You see what I'm saying? So they use men for all types of evil, and they use their children too. Why you think these women dress their daughters up like hoochies and hoes? Why you got the women wearing the leggings and it bothers the men? You know, the righteous man, he sees a woman wearing leggings. He knows that this is a seductive woman. He knows that this woman is showing all her goods. Don't you know that these same women dress their daughters the same exact way? Daughters wearing mini shorts, showing all their thighs and legs and stuff. Daughters wearing leggings, showing all their buttocks and all their vagina. Oh, they call it camel toe, all their camel toe showing and stuff. Girls out on the street twerking and popping and shaking their behinds and stuff. You got these women twerking in front of their children, popping and shaking, and they little young daughters doing the same thing, watching what their parents doing, twerking and popping and shaking. Little girl, a toddler, learning how to twerk, how to pop, how to split, how to monkey on a stick. All these dances that these girls are doing are sexual dances. All these dances are imitating sexual positions, sexual intercourse. Twerking, you twerking on the what? Twerking on the penis. It's sexual. And you got your daughter doing the same thing. Doing splits and popping and twerking on the ground and doing all this is imitating sexual acts. And y'all have these children doing this. You are wicked and immoral. And a lot of times I can't believe that men don't see it with the children. When you see a woman wearing Daisy Duke shorts, you know that this woman is dressing seductively, that she's trying to attract the man in a seductive way. Well, how you think the child is dressed? The child is dressed the same exact way that the adult is dressed. So who is the child attracted? The child is attracting males that's her age, that's sexually attracted. You know, you dressing your children to look seductive and sexual. So they're attracting kids their own age in a seductive sexual way, and it's also attracting the pedophiles who are attracted to little girls. When see these grown men, these teenagers that's looking at your little 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old daughter, what they thinking about is this: oh wow, her mama dressed her like that, so her mama don't care that she's looking seductive and sexual, so her mama not right. So I can mess with the daughter because the daughter is exposed. She outside by herself. She dressed like a little hoochie, a little slut. You know what I'm saying? So that shows you the way the child is dressed shows you how the parent mind is. What type of parent that she has. So you know that her parent is neglectful. Her parent don't really care too much about her child being seduced and possibly raped and molested because of the way she got her child dressed. You know, they say it don't matter how a woman dressed, a man shouldn't touch her. If a woman dressed like a whore, a man's going to perceive that she is a whore. And men don't respect whores. So that man's going to try to take advantage of that whore. That man's going to seduce that whore. He's going to tell her things that make her feel good, that make her trust him. Just to get what he wants, which is sex. Because you're dressed seductively. I feel so sorry for these little girls. Watching you twerking and shaking your behind, and that's what you do inside. These young parents, these young mothers, shaking and twerking their behind in front of the little girl, watching videos that have women shaking and twerking themselves. You got the men, got the women shaking and twerking, now the daughters shaking and twerking. You know what I'm saying? Already doing sexual moves and all this kind of stuff. So she knew how to tear it up. These young boys see these young girls shaking and twerking, popping they stuff all up in the air. So they like, well, she ready for sexual, you know, she ready for it because look how she's dressed. Look how she's acting. Look how she's clothed. She's ready for sex. She's been trained by her mother. You see what I'm saying? Man, if you get with one of these women, if you taking one of these women from the streets, like, you know, a lot of these women that's, you know, coming into the truth, they coming from the world. They coming from that upbringing. They coming from that single parent. They coming from dressing like a hoochie and like a hoe. They coming from dressing seductively and all this kind of stuff. So you gotta break it down to her. Look, sister, yeah, I know you coming into the truth, or I know that you've been in the truth for a while. You've been studying, watching brothers' videos and this and that. But sister, you still dress inappropriately. You still got cleavage showing. You're still straightening your hair, wearing weaves and dyeing your hair blind and brown and all this kind of crap. You're still wearing blue and green eye contact lenses. Sister, you got to change your apparel. You got to dress modestly. You got to have a high self-esteem. You got to love the way God created you. You got to dress modestly. You got to love your natural hair, sister. You got to depart from the way you used to be with me, because I'm not accepting it. You see what I'm saying? And if she has a children already, she has a daughter, sister, you got to throw this stuff away. Your daughter cannot dress like this. Your daughter cannot wear leggings. If the leggings are not underneath a skirt, Because she can wear a dress. She can wear a skirt that goes down past the knee with leggings on under it. So if the dress blows up, no one sees her underwear. You see what I'm saying? She can wear shorts down to the knee and with leggings on under it. You know, as not to dispose her thigh and her calves. And, you know, the things that attract a man sexually, the leggings are supposed to cover up. But the leggings were not supposed to be worn as pants. They're supposed to be worn as an undergarment, like stockings. You see what I'm saying? Your daughter can't wear booty shorts anymore. She can't wear shorts that expose her thighs. She can't wear tights exposing her buttocks. Your children can't dress like this anymore, ma'am. Neither can you. You're spending all this damn money on buying your children Jordans and all this Louis Vuitton, all this expensive type lame brand crap, when you can go into some stores and buy her some long dresses. You see what I'm saying? Let her dress modestly. Baggy pants, not tight jeans, not tight leggings showing off all the thighs and the calves and the buttocks and the vagina and the camel toe. You can't dress your children like this. Why is your daughter, 13, 14 years old, just not starting to develop breasts? You got her showing cleavage already. She's showing cleavage. This is a wicked woman. You know a woman by the way she dressed and carry herself, and the way her children dress, and the way she allow her children to carry themselves. You know the woman by her children. Yeah, you a single parent, you had it hard. But when you come into the knowledge of the truth, you got to start living right. And you got to get your children on board. As long as you pay the bills in your house, your children are under your authority. And if they don't want to listen and obey you, get rid of their ass. Period. Put them behind in the foster home. Call Child Protective Services and tell them, look, I can't keep these kids. These kids are out of control. They don't listen to me. They got to go. The scriptures, don't you know the scriptures? The scripture said, I believe it's in Deuteronomy chapter 21. And you have to go all the way down towards the end. But it says, if a man and woman have a stubborn and rebellious child who will not obey the laws of their mother and their father, you shall take that child to the elders of that city, and they shall stone him to death for being disobedient to the parent. We didn't play with disobedient children. Disobedient children were put to death under the old law. In the same way today, your child don't obey you, don't listen to you, don't do what you say, kick them out. Put them out. Tell the people, hey, I can't take care of this child. This child is rebellious. Send them to juvenile detention, do whatever you can, but I'm not dealing with your rebellious child. Your child ain't going to run the house when I'm in it. If you're a woman and you want me to come in your life and see women, and that's another thing too. Some of you women give it a man so that man can put your house in order. Right? And a man is the head of the woman, and that's supposed to be his job. His job is to put things in order with the woman. But if that man come in there and he tries to bring their children under obedience, you got to stand by that man. And you got to be whatever that man says. That man say, hey, that child punished, that child can't go nowhere. You got to stand by that man. If your child won't try to act out and try to go off on that man, and that man say, hey, your child just went off on me, your child tried to hit me or whatever, you got to get rid of this child. This child got to go. You got to do it. Because guess what? The man comes before the child. The man is the head of the woman. And the man and the woman is the head of the children. Not the woman is the head of the children. The man and the woman are the head of the children. And if the children won't obey, children got to go. You know, women, no man come before you. No man come before your child. Well, man, who is the child for? Is the child hers or is the child theirs? Because last time I checked, the man carried the seed. And the seed is already living inside that man. And once that man procreates with that woman, the seed goes inside the woman, swims up to the egg, goes inside the egg, and develops into a boy or a girl child within the woman's body. So that semen, that sperm is already inside the man, living. Already is a living being inside the man before he puts it inside the woman. That's his child. And the man has authority over his child. It's your child, But I'm just saying, you women are giving yourselves too much credit for giving birth to a child that was put into you by the man. That's his child. It's y'all child together, but you trying to take too much credit. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to balance it out. That's his child. That's his seed. And you the mother. You the wife. And you're supposed to work together as a unit to bring this child up. Now, if you get a man who's not the biological father of your child, but he wants to take on a role as a father, you got to support him. 100%. And if the child won't be obedient, then y'all gonna have to get rid of that child. And I know this sounds crazy to some of you, because you've been raised in a world that's been telling women that the woman is the head of the child, and that the woman has power over her own body, and blah 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 blah. But that goes against the scriptures, because the woman was created for the man, not the man for the woman. Nor is the woman independent of the man, nor is the man independent of the woman. For we are all one in the Most High. That's what the scriptures say. But the woman was created for the man. Next, we're going to Proverbs chapter 12, verse 4. And it says, an excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she who causes shame is like rottenness to his bones. Next, Proverbs chapter 23, verses 27 through 28. It says, for a harlot is a deep pit, and a seductress is a narrow well. She also lies in wait for her victims, and increases the unfaithfulness amongst men. Next, Proverbs chapter 25, verse 24. It says, it is better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman. And a contentious person, a contentious woman, is someone who always wants to argue. Y'all can never get along. Y'all can never be on the same page. You have one way, she has another way. You have your opinion, she has her opinion. It's always a contention. It's always a fight. See, we got men dealing with these type of women now. The contentious woman always want to argue, always want to speak what they call, I speak my mind. I'ma say what I want to say. And listen, I don't want to hear this crap. You know what I'm saying? Always want to argue. This is a wicked woman. Don't deal with her. If y'all ain't got children, y'all ain't married, you need to leave this woman alone. If y'all have children and this woman is ruining your life, you need to leave her. Pay that child support. Hell. And you'll be better off at the end. Next, Proverbs chapter 27, verse 15 through 16. It says, a continual dripping on a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Whoever restrains her restrains the wind, and grabs Earl with his right hand. And see, Earl is slippery, and you can't grab the wind. It's saying this contentious woman is like a continual dripping on a rainy day. She's aggravating. She causes stress. You see what I'm saying? There's only one way to get rid of this type of woman. Divorce. Break up. Separate. Next we're going to Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verses 25 through 27. It reads, I applied my heart to know, to search and seek out wisdom and the reason of things, to know the wickedness of folly, even of foolishness and madness. And I made, verse 26, and I made more better than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, whose hands are fiddle. He who pleases God shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be trapped by her. Here is what I have found, says the preacher, adding one thing to another to find out the reason, which my soul shall seek, but I cannot find. One man among 1,000 I have found, but a woman among all these I have not found. Truly, this one thing I have found, that God made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions. See, Solomon, and let me read this again in Ecclesiastes chapter 7. I'm going to read verse 26 again. It says, And I found more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, whose hands are filthy. He who pleases God shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be trapped by her. See, a man who's a sinner, he shall get a wicked woman. A wicked woman is his portion. That's his reward for being wicked. So if you're a man and you've come into the knowledge of the truth, and the woman that you with is wicked, it's because that was the woman you was given when you was in your wickedness. It's time for you to depart from this woman. But I'm married to her. Is she willing to change? Is she changing? Is you bringing her the truth and she's changing? You see what I'm saying? If she's not, y'all need to depart. You born again. You a new creature in Christ. You're not bound to the woman that you was married when you were dead in your sins. You are alive in Christ. You see what I'm saying? Next we're going to Sirach chapter 25, verses 24 through 26. And the reason says, sin began with a woman, and we must all die because of her. The precept to that is in 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 14. Verse 25. Don't let a bad wife have her way any more than you would allow water to leak from your cistern. Now this is verse 26. If she won't do as you tell her, divorce her. You see that? This is Sirach chapter 25 verses 24 to 26. It says, if she won't do as you tell her, divorce her. And the precept is in Matthew chapter 19 verse 29. You can't divorce your wife if she does not do what you say. If she does not live right according to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, and she won't do as you say, which is live according to the Most High's laws. Don't stop feeding your children unclean foods. Stop celebrating pagan holidays and allowing your children to celebrate pagan holidays. Because see, when you change and you come into the truth, and you're dealing with a woman who's not in the truth, and she won't even accept the truth that you're giving her, that you've received from either someone who is anointed to teach the truth or through the revelation of the Holy Spirit, you may need to divorce this woman. And you are given permission by the Mashiach, by the Messiah, in Matthew chapter 19, verse 29. And the scriptures also tell you you can in the book of Sirach chapter 25, verse 26. Also known as Ecclesiasticus chapter 25, verse 26. Next we're going to Sirach chapter 26, verses 7 through 9. And it reads, it says, a bad wife is like a yoke that doesn't fit. Trying to control her is like holding a scorpion. A drunken woman is an infuriating sight. She cannot conceal her shameless behavior. You can tell an unfaithful wife by the bold and flirting look in her eyes. Yeah, you can tell. You're married to a woman and you see that she's very flirtatious. She still likes to dress seductively. She's still, you know what I'm saying? You can kind of tell she's unfaithful by the way she acts. But you should be able to tell this before you marry her, that she's that unstable type of woman. You see what I'm saying? Next, Sirach chapter 26, verses 10 through 12. It says, if your daughter is determined to have her own way, keep a close watch on her. If you don't, she will take advantage of any chance she gets. Verse 11. If she is too self-willed, be on guard and don't be surprised if she disappoints you. She'll spread her legs anywhere for any man who wants her, just as a thirsty traveler will drink whatever water is available. See, you have to watch your daughters. It says, if your daughter is determined to have her own way, keep a close watch on her. If you don't, she'll take advantage of any chance she gets. See, this girl, this daughter, who's determined to do what she wants to do. You tell her don't do this, she wants to do it anyway. Every time you give her an order, a command, you know what I'm saying? She always wants to be defiant. You got to keep a close watch on her, because she's looking for a chance to do wickedness. And also, that rebellious daughter, the man, the man sees that she's rebellious. The man sees that she's sneaky. So that man is going to try to take advantage of her. And a lot of times when these girls get raped and molested and stuff, a lot of times it be their own fault, because they doing something they shouldn't be doing. They allowing, you know what I'm saying? You doing something you shouldn't be doing. You entertaining somebody you shouldn't be entertaining. You allowing somebody to talk to you in a way that you know you're not supposed to be talked to. You letting somebody show you something that they're not supposed to be showing you. You see what I'm saying? You're not telling your parents what's going on. You allowing yourself to be put in positions to where you can be hurt. All because you want to be disobedient. And because you are being disobedient, that person's going to take advantage of that. You see what I'm saying? This is education. Next, we're going to Sirach chapter 26, verse 19. And I'm reading from the Contemporary English Version. All the verses I've read from Sirach so far has been from the Good News Translation. Now I'm in the Contemporary English Version. And it reads, Sirach chapter 26, verse 19. It says, students, when you come of age, stay away from immoral women and stay healthy. Sirach chapter 26, verses 22 to 27. It says, a prostitute is worth less than spit. And affairs with a married woman are deadly. Reject God's laws, and he will give you a godless wife. But if you fear the Most High, your wife will be faithful to him. A shameless wife is vulgar in public, but a good woman is modest, even alone with her husband. If a wife does what she pleases, she is no better than a dog. But if she is shamefaced to do wrong, she will fear the Most High. Everyone can tell that a wife is wise if she honors her husband, but if she is proud and refuses, they will see she is ungodly. Yes, a man who is married to a good woman is happy, and he will live twice as long. But the constant talking of a loud wife is a trumpet signaling for a battle to begin, and her family will live in the course of war. And that was in Sirach chapter 26, verses 22 to 27. And that's from the Contemporary English Version of the Bible. I like the way it read that. Basically breaking down that a wicked man is going to get a wicked woman as his reward. Because you reap what you sow. If you sow wickedness, you're going to reap wickedness. You see what I'm saying? And a wicked woman, she's going to tear you down. She's going to destroy everything. She's out of control. She's loud-mouthed, rebellious, always talking back. She's going to make your life a living hell. Next, we're going to Sirach chapter 42, verses 14. And it reads, it says, a man's wickedness is better than a woman's goodness. Women bring shame and disgrace. Now, when we read in 26, when it says a woman who is shamefaced shall be honored. See, a woman who is shamefaced, that means this is a woman who doesn't want to be ashamed, who doesn't want to look as though, she's, a woman who is shamefaced is a woman who makes sure that she's living right according to God's word. You see what I'm saying? She don't want any shame brought unto her. She don't want her children acting a fool when they out in public with her, where she has to fuss and argue and scream at them to get them to listen You see what I'm saying? Because all that does is shame face her. When your children are disobedient and they embarrassing you in public, it makes you ashamed. You know what I'm saying? When you're dressing like a slut, popping and twerking, around your kids in these videos, you ought to be ashamed. But these women are not ashamed. Women who are not ashamed continue to do those things that are not right in the eyes of God. But the shamefaced woman makes sure that she doesn't do those things that would disgrace her and her family. You see what I'm saying? The woman who is not ashamed does not repent. The woman who is not ashamed doesn't see anything wrong with anything she's doing. She thinks she can do no wrong. And they have women that say, I have no regrets. I ain't ashamed of anything. She ain't even ashamed of having children outside of wedlock. Child don't even know who their father is. You know what I'm saying? And that hurts that child. That child feel like he was abandoned by the person who brought them into existence. But you ain't ashamed. Okay, let me wrap this up. The last verse is in 1 Ezra chapter 4, verses 26 and 27. And the reason says, some men are driven out of their minds on account of a woman, and others become slaves for the sake of a woman. Others have been put to death, have ruined their lives, or have committed crimes because of a woman. And that's how powerful a woman is. In 1 Ezra chapter 4, verses 26, 27, it tells you how powerful women are and the power they have over men. That seductress woman. It says some men are driven out of their minds on account of a woman, and others become slaves for the sake of a woman. Others have been put to death, have ruined their lives, and have committed crimes all because of woman. See, women are very powerful. Very powerful. I never underestimate the power of a woman. I never underestimate the strength of a woman. And I appreciate and respect the godly woman, the woman who lives right according to God's commandments. I despise and abhor the wicked woman who seduces men, who dresses immodestly, who raises her children to be immodest and immoral. I despise the lesbian. I despise the fornicator. I despise the prostitute. I despise these women who claim to be the mother and the father. You're not the mother and the father. You're the mother. If the father abandoned you and the child, it's because you chose to be with this man. You chose to go against God's word, which is to be married. Right? You chose to be a whore. Get with this man. No counsel at all whatsoever from your parents. Because a woman couldn't get married to a man without her father's consent. The father was the one who chose the husband. The father was the one who studied this man, saw if this man was the right type of man for the wife, for his daughter, and then she married that man with her father's blessing. But today these women don't have wise counsel. They don't even have wise parents. Because your mother got pregnant outside of wedlock and had you. Now she should have taught you on what type of man you shouldn't mess with. She should have learned from her mistake. A lot of you women should be learning from y'all mistakes, because it's a lot of y'all doing it. But none of y'all learning from y'all mistakes. Y'all continue to do the things that y'all ancestors done, and now you procreate the same thing that she procreated, and now your child probably will do the same thing that you did, because you're not teaching your children to be wiser than you. You're not showing them the error of your ways. You're not repentant. You're not shamefaced. You're rejoicing and having a party and twerking and shaking your behind and thinking that everything's all good and cool. That's what you're doing. Rather than being shamefaced and using your life as an example of what not to do for your kids. So that's going to conclude this Bible study sermon called The Wicked Woman. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you took notes of the scriptures I used. Please subscribe. The channel is Ike. If you look up Isaiah on Google, you'll find my Google channel. You'll find me on Mogul Space. You'll find me on Facebook, Instagram, under Isaiah. Until next time, peace and